Did you know that in 2025, some countries are tightening their borders more than ever? Whether it's due to policy changes, economic pressures, or rising political debates, immigrants are facing increasing challenges worldwide. Stay tuned to uncover which 10 countries are making the biggest shifts in their immigration policies and why. Welcome to Abroad of Air. In today's video, we're diving into a pressing topic: the 10 countries that are kicking out immigrants in 2025. This list is based on recent policy changes, economic trends, and social tensions. We'll explore why these countries are making such drastic moves and what it means for immigrants and global migration. Stick around till the end for an important insight into how this could shape the future of international relations. Country number 1, United Kingdom. The UK has introduced stricter visa rules post-Brexit, prioritizing skilled workers over other categories. In 2025, a new return home policy targets those overstaying visas. Over 100,000 immigrants are projected to be affected this year alone. Economic pressures and housing shortages have intensified debates. Anti-immigration sentiment has grown in certain regions, influencing policies. Historical insight. The UK has a long history of migration, particularly from former colonies. Cultural highlight. Immigrants contribute significantly to the UK's NHS and tech industries. Critics argue that these policies could harm sectors reliant on migrant labor. However, supporters claim it's about protecting domestic resources. What does this mean for immigrant communities in the UK? Country number 2, United States. The US has ramped up deportations under revised immigration laws in 2025. The focus is on undocumented immigrants and those with expired work permits. Nearly 1 million people are estimated to face deportation. Rising political debates around border security fuel these decisions. Cultural highlight. The U.S. relies heavily on immigrant labor in agriculture and tech. Historical insight. The nation's identity as a melting pot contrasts with current policies. Critics fear these measures could lead to labor shortages. Supporters cite national security and job protection as priorities. Key states like Texas and Arizona are at the heart of this policy shift. Will these changes redefine America's role as a land of opportunity? Country number 3. Japan, known for its strict immigration policies, has tightened them even further. The 2025 regulations target foreign workers in low-skilled jobs. Cultural highlight. Japan values homogeneity, influencing its immigration stance. Historical insight. Historically, Japan has been cautious about large-scale migration. Critics argue the aging population needs immigrant labor. Supporters say stricter policies protect cultural identity. Deportations are increasing, particularly for those on expired visas. The policies could impact industries like caregiving and construction. Many immigrants face challenges integrating into Japanese society. Is Japan's focus on cultural preservation sustainable long-term? Country number 4. India's 2025 policies are targeting undocumented immigrants. The government has expanded its National Register of Citizens, NRC. Millions of individuals face deportation or statelessness. Critics argue these measures disproportionately affect marginalized groups. Historical insight. Partition and migration issues have long shaped India's policies. Cultural highlight. India has been a destination for refugees from neighboring countries. Supporters claim the policies ensure national security. Neighboring countries like Bangladesh are feeling the ripple effects. Activists warn of potential humanitarian crises. How will this shape India's regional relations? Country number 5. Saudi Arabia has doubled down on its Saudization policies in 2025. Over 2 million foreign workers are set to be deported due to policy changes. These measures prioritize Saudi citizens and employment across all industries. Migrant workers, particularly in construction and domestic work, are the most affected. Cultural highlight. Migrants have historically been the backbone of Saudi Arabia's rapid infrastructure growth. Historical insight. Since the 1970s oil boom, Saudi Arabia has relied heavily on foreign labor. Rising costs, including increased residency fees, are forcing many to leave voluntarily. Critics warn that industries such as construction may face labor shortages. Supporters argue that these policies are necessary to combat local unemployment. Many migrants face harsh living conditions and lack legal protections. The crackdown has sparked concerns over potential human rights violations. Neighboring countries like India and Pakistan are seeing an influx of returning migrants. The policies reflect a broader trend of nationalism in the Gulf region. Will these measures improve local employment or destabilize key sectors? Country number 6, Australia, is tightening its immigration rules further in 2025. Deportations target overstaying students, temporary workers, and asylum seekers. Nearly 70,000 individuals are projected to face removal this year. Housing shortages and rising costs are central to the immigration debate. Cultural highlight: Australia's vibrant multiculturalism contributes to its global reputation. Historical insight: while Australia was built on migration, exclusionary policies like the White Australia policy linger in memory. Critics argue that reducing immigrant intake could harm international education and tourism. Supporters claim that stricter controls ensure resources are allocated to citizens first. The agricultural sector, which heavily relies on migrant workers, could face challenges. Asylum seekers arriving by boat face mandatory detention and deportation. Country number 7, Italy, has introduced strict deportation policies targeting undocumented migrants in 2025. The influx of migrants from North Africa has intensified political and public debates. Over 150,000 deportations are expected this year, creating ripples across Europe. The policies primarily focus on managing illegal border crossings by sea. Cultural highlight: Italy's cuisine, fashion, and traditions have benefited from diverse influences. Historical insight: Italy has been a key entry point for migrants seeking refuge in Europe for centuries. Critics argue these measures violate human rights and EU agreements. Supporters claim these steps are necessary to maintain border security. Coastal regions, especially Sicily, are bearing the brunt of immigration enforcement. Refugees fleeing war-torn nations face heightened barriers to seeking asylum. Many Italians are divided over the economic and social impacts of migration. Country number 8, Russia's immigration policies in 2025 focus on undocumented workers from Central Asia. Stricter residency and employment laws have led to a surge in deportations. Nearly 300,000 migrant workers are projected to leave the country this year. Cultural highlight: migrants are essential to industries like construction and agriculture. Historical insight: Russia's relationship with migration stems from its Soviet Union legacy. Economic pressures and declining demographics drive Russia's immigration debates. Critics argue these policies could worsen labor shortages in key sectors. Supporters claim deportations are necessary to curb illegal immigration. Rising xenophobia and nationalism influence public opinion on migration. Legal pathways for immigrants to achieve permanent residency remain limited. Migrants from countries like Uzbekistan and Tajikistan face the most challenges. Border regions are seeing increased enforcement and crackdowns. Country number 9, South Africa's 2025 immigration policies target undocumented migrants across the nation. Rising unemployment and xenophobic violence have fueled stricter enforcement. Nearly 500,000 immigrants are expected to face deportation this year. Cultural highlight: migrants have contributed to South Africa's diverse identity and economy. Historical insight: migration has shaped the nation's post-apartheid economic growth. Critics argue that deportations could harm industries reliant on migrant labor, such as mining. Supporters claim these policies prioritize jobs and resources for citizens. Neighboring countries like Zimbabwe are most affected by South Africa's crackdown. Immigrant communities often face discrimination and lack of legal protection. Social tensions between locals and migrants continue to escalate. Economic pressures, including energy crises, are driving these policy changes. Human rights organizations are calling for more humane approaches to migration. Country number 10. Malaysia's large-scale deportation of undocumented workers has intensified in 2025. Over 1.5 million foreign workers, primarily from Indonesia and Bangladesh, are at risk. The government's crackdown aims to combat illegal immigration and strengthen borders. Cultural highlight: migrants play a crucial role in industries like plantations, construction, and domestic work. Historical insight: Malaysia has long been a hub for regional migration within Southeast Asia. Critics argue these policies could harm Malaysia's economy by reducing its labor force. Supporters claim the measures are necessary to address illegal immigration. Employers have raised concerns over potential labor shortages in key industries. Migrant communities are facing increased vulnerability and uncertainty. As we've explored, 2025 is shaping up to be a pivotal year for immigration policies worldwide. These 6 countries and the broader trends highlight the growing tension between national priorities and global migration. What's your perspective on these changes? Drop a comment below to share your thoughts, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content. See you in the next video.